Welcome to Buffalo Plus, Mike Catalan, Dan Fates. I'm Jenna Cottrell. So we know the Bills are still set for their game against the Titans on Tuesday. There's been a schedule change, though, with the Chiefs game now going to be moved to Monday at that 5 p.m. Very coveted slot, of course. Mike, what do you make of all these changes that are going on?
All right, let's start with this. It's a joke that the whole league has bowed down to what the Titans have done. The Titans caused the majority of these problems. They still can't get it right. Yet we all got to dance around the Titans because, I don't know, they've already screwed up once and forced a game to be postponed. Now it's happening again. So there's that whole part.
King.
Well, come on. There's that whole part of like the league doing this. Now, I don't think they're doing it for any special favor for the Titans. I think they're just petrified to have a game that they cannot make up, right? Because that means an extra week of the season and everything. So the league's plan is hope right now. Hope that it doesn't blow up again. They can get this game in. But it's a joke to put the Bills through that. And the other part of this, Dan, is to now have the Bills, even if there are no more positive tests, go into a place that's had 24 positive tests over the last 2 weeks. If I was McBean, I'd be screaming at the league right now.
Yeah, we asked Mitch Morse, last week how confident he felt with not only playing, but the confidence level he had in the league to put player safety first. That's what we heard all the time, right? Player safety. It's player safety. The reason that the Patriots and Broncos games canceled was player safety. So apparently there's another test, whether or not it was an assistant coach and he was close to the team or whatnot. Like Mike said, there has still been 20 plus positive cases over the last 2 weeks, and that the league seems so terrified of having a week 18. That is what the vibe we're getting, is that the league does not want to do that. They want to avoid it at all costs. The cost seems to be player safety. I don't know what we're doing. This is crazy. You see all these players, and I get it. I understand game checks. I understand all that stuff. But Cody Ford said it best. I'd rather be healthy than rich.
Yeah, and that's a guy that's newer into the league, but I think he understands how, he knows there are going to be paid at some point, obviously. Mike, I have a question, though, just in terms of why does it seem like for a lot of fans, I feel like they're very frustrated about the fact that this is now the second week in a row that the Titans schedule has been moved around because of COVID. Now, look, we understand there were going to be positive tests, but why does it seem like the league is catering to that team and that organization and messing up the schedule for them?
Well, I think the idea is because they've already had one game postponed, right? They don't have a bye week anymore. Look what they've done, though, with the Patriots, where they've moved a game, but obviously there's something down the line where they're going to have to move another game. Maybe we're going to have to start getting used to this. I don't know. But I think in terms of the way the league has handled it, they've looked like they have been following, not leading. They did not have a plan coming into the year that said, look, if we get to this point, we either shut down for 2 weeks. Let's go back to Sean McDermott during camp when they had the whole thing with the rookies. He said, I'd rather have a few bad days than a few bad weeks, right? To something to that effect. The league didn't have that plan in place. What they had in plan was, gee, we hope nobody gets it so we don't have to postpone. And if we do, well, we've got the bye weeks. They should have had this built into the schedule, even if it meant starting the season a week earlier, that they could have done that. They could have done it Labor Day weekend. So that's part of the issue I have with the NFL. Every other league has had to deal with it unless they're in a bubble, and this league wasn't in a bubble. I blame it on the NFL.
I'm interested to see, though, how the Bills handle this. They didn't have practice yesterday. They had practice today. They have closed off the media availability. Players haven't had to answer questions for the last few days. And I think that helps. Look, the Bills were answering questions about the Titans going back to last week before they played the Raiders. They did a good job of blocking that out and playing a really good game in Vegas. Now, all of a sudden, this was forefront. They answered more questions about protocol and COVID than they did about actually facing Derrick Henry as well as Ryan Tannehill. Now, I kind of like that. The Bills have kind of been isolated from the outside world as well leading into these last few games. Now, I'm sure they'll have a practice again. I'm sure we'll be able to talk to them one more time. I'm guessing probably tomorrow is my guess, at least to hear from McDermott about what this is like moving forward. But this is mentally draining on the entire league, more on the Bills because they've done nothing wrong and have had to pay the consequences.
But I would say this. I think the Bills from yesterday on have been saying, we're playing the Titans. It's going to be Tuesday. We will then pivot if that doesn't happen, because this game was not going to be Thursday. It was going to be Sunday at the earliest. I really thought by yesterday it would have been tough for them to move that game back to Thursday, because the Chiefs, by the way, played the Raiders today. So then you've got to adjust to a quick trip and flying to Buffalo. I believe if McDermott was playing the odds, he was saying, let's get ready for the Titans and we will pivot if it becomes the Chiefs. So we do know, Jenna, this is a team that can stay pretty focused and on point, and they're going to need all of that getting ready for the game coming up on Tuesday.
I will say I do feel bad for Bills Mafia having that Chiefs game that used to be in prime time now being moved to a Monday.
Wait
at
a
5
minute.
o'clock.
Monday at 5 is the time everybody's coveted. I joked on Twitter today. I said, oh, don't you remember being a kid and rushing home after school to see the NFL game at 5 o'clock on a Monday? I mean, at least this Patriots game that was supposed to be 5 o'clock on Monday, at least that was on a holiday, Columbus Day. This is just a rando old Monday. They're going to shoehorn it in there to make sure Fox gets its window of 3 hours before the Monday night game. They are scrambling, Jenna. The league is scrambling to make it work. And their plan is hope, and hope is not a plan.
That's well said.
Yeah, not at all. That's always good. I was just saying, we'll end on that. All right, for Mike Adela and Dan Fades, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe as well as like and comment. Thank you so much. We'll be back again later on.